What's going on, everyone? This is episode 149 of MONG Podcast, the MONG Podcast, Middle of Nowhere Gaming Podcast, all the different variations you want to say. I'm joined today by my co-hosts,
Adam Leonard.
And Jordan Loeffler.
There we go, and this episode is entitled Nintendo Dreamland. As per usual, that'll make sense later. Beyond that, what's been going on with the site, Mr. Loeffler, who we're welcoming back after his break?
Looks like we have Dead Rising 4 review by Chris Cobb, who you saw last week.
Yeah.
And the Hitman Season 1 review by Riley Berry. Kind of did a overall recap of all the Hitman from Season 1.
It's so meta.
I know. We try real hard on middleofnowheregaming.com.
We do. We net deck and make the best meta builds and choices possible. Alright. So, as per usual, interesting things going on. But, remember, always remember, the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason plot. If you would like to join the team at Middle of Nowhere Gaming, feel free to send in an application, whether you think you have writing skills, video skills, sound skills, graphical skills, skills
Skills with a Z.
Yeah,
A certain set of skills.
Yeah, a certain set. Skills for kills, agent. Skills for kills. Don't actually kill people. But if you would like to apply, we have an application at the bottom of wherever you're listening or watching this at, so check that out. And beyond that, we are also sporting a fancy new Discord that is headed currently by Lord Jesus Crust, the one and only. So feel free to also check that out. Get in there, chat with him, have some fun. I don't know if how many people are in there, but you can be more. You can be the more.
I'm in there occasionally.
There you go. Chat with Adam. Be the more. Be the more people. Beyond that, this week in our lives, gentlemen, what's been going on with you, Adam?
It's actually kind of a busy week in gaming. I'm kind of in the process of trying to clean up as much of my backlog from 2016 as possible. Beat Final Fantasy 15.
Nice. What'd you think of the ending?
Okay, so here's kind of my opinion is, I still hold the opinion that it's worth $60, and they did a lot of good work here. Holy hell, is Chapter 13 a problem?
Oh, which chapter is that? Because I've seen the ending, and I've seen a lot of it. I just don't know the chapters.
Chapters 13 is where you're actually at the Citadel. Okay, it's minor spoilers. We're not gonna get into real big plot points, but 13 is like a mix of things I do not like in video games. First of all, it's a stealth. It's a stealth level in a Final Fantasy game, a stealth level. And it's also one of those obnoxious choke points where, for plot reasons, you get all of your weapons taken away. So not only get stealth, you have extremely limited resources at your disposal.
Yeah.
Also, just for an RPG, that's really weird.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It seemed odd.
I'm glad it seems like Square Enix is making the right call by fleshing it out, because it definitely feels like there's something missing in that chapter, because there are moments where I'm just like, wait, what the hell? Just why? And so I really think it would probably benefit from some fleshing out. It kind of feels like it kind of limps on from there. It felt like I was really enjoying Final Fantasy 13 or 15 up until Chapter 13, and then Chapter 13 kind of signals this kind of slog off towards the end. It almost kind of feels like they just kind of ran out of time a little bit, and so they just kind of had to wrap it on up.
That's the chapter that ends with that one person being swallowed by that stone vagina, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a minor spoiler there.
It's not a spoiler if you don't know what I'm talking about.
And then where it goes from there, there's some stuff that could have potentially been interesting if they had spent some time with it, but it's basically after that chapter it's really long too. It's a really long chapter. And then like I said, it feels like from there on out they're just like, okay, we got to get through the rest of this. Once again, not enough that it ruined my enjoyment of the game, but it was kind of reminiscent of, have you guys ever seen the movie Hancock?
Oh, yes.
One time I was going to watch the movie Hancock, and I was telling my buddies, I'm going to go home tonight and watch the movie Hancock. And they're like, oh, that's a bad movie. It doesn't start out bad, but you'll know when things start going downhill. And I start watching Hancock, and I'm like, this is an amazing film. I love everything they're doing. I like, what they're doing with Will Smith. Oh, I don't see how anybody could think this is a terrible film until, like, Charlize Theron, like, punches him through the kitchen. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that's where this goes wrong. Chapter 13 is kind of that.
Yeah.
So I got through that. I finally also beat Mafia 3.
Okay.
Hey.
Might be my favorite game of the year.
Wow.
Oh.
I think it's kind of underappreciated. The gameplay is just so. I mean, it's not bad. It's not inspired either. Like I said, it's never going to be Grand Theft Auto. But man, like the story and the characters are so good in that game, and like the ending was really satisfying, and it's got just kind of like a brilliant in-action moment ending that's just like really well put together. I think I could probably spoil Mafia 3 a little bit because that's been there for a while. It's not really a big shocker. Basically, the entire plot is a dude who's trying to take down the mob who like done him wrong. So like, it's not really a shock what eventually happens. But it's kind of sweet because like, so eventually when you've taken down the mob that's done you wrong, you like go and like visit your friends one last time. But you basically have like these two kind of major confidants. One's like this guy who is basically a CIA spook who's like your old like Vietnam buddy who's been doing all of your reconnaissance and has been kind of encouraging you on your like path of destruction. And then you've got your other friend who's kind of more your spiritual center, who's like this preacher that was like the local priest that that you knew ever since you were like in the orphanage and stuff. And so they're like throughout the thing they're advocating the CIA spook is telling you to take over the city, and like the priest is just saying you just need to walk away from this. This is not good for you. And so basically at the end, like the ending is kind of them debating on what you should do, whether you want to kind of take over like this town or if you should just leave now that your revenge is done. And as they're fighting, like you can slowly start to hear like Sympathy for the Devil start playing, and then it just kind of leaves you to decide whether you're going to drive to your mansion and take over this crime empire, or if you're going to leave the city and leave your life of crime forever while the song is playing while you're driving off to your final destination. It was a very, very good ending.
Yeah.
Cool.
It sounds very impactful. Yeah.
So I definitely recommend it, especially as it's probably inevitably only going to drop in price. It was one of the more surprising titles I played this year in terms of, like I said, I think the story is just really well done, and it's done in like in the style of a documentary, which is kind of interesting because I've never seen a game do that. Where like all the cutscenes are basically taking place like in like a future point from the perspective of a documentary, talking about what you did during your time in the game. It's good stuff.
Huh. That does sound pretty interesting.
And then I just started Watch Dogs 2, but I haven't had enough time to play it, so I'll probably have something to say about it next week.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice. Jordan, what have you been doing beyond... Never mind, what have you been doing?
Well, I went to Jamaica for vacation, so I was out last week. And besides relaxing in the sun, which was great, I spent a lot of time in airports and on the airplane, so I got some alone time with my Vita. I picked up Darkest Dungeon right before I left.
Ooh,
and yeah, it ended up being a really good choice. Really, really like it. Really the only way I can describe the gameplay for anybody who doesn't know is kind of like party management in a way. For the most part, like you're just like walking through dungeons, like it's a side scroller, and like picking things up, picking up loot, and then encountering enemies and fighting them. But the battle system, like while it's deep and like there's a lot of things that you need to pay attention to, it's very chance based. And so like there's not a lot that you can do to like sway the tide of battle like in your favor. Just because the game really tries to drive home the fact that like these people that you're using in battle like are frail, and like that it's supposed to be really hard to get through the game. So you go back to your town, and they have your teammates have like different ailments and stuff like that you have to like try and treat, and sometimes they'll die, and there's permadeath and all that stuff. It's really cool. I like it a lot. I can see where I'm going to get a little bored with it, or a little frustrated with it. I've heard there's kind of a grind halfway through or towards the end. So it's good for now. I really like having it on my Vita, and I've been playing it a little bit at home too. It's been good on the big screen. On the Vita, the text is a little small, and there's a lot of text. So it's been good with that. Other than that, right before I left, and since I've been home, I started playing Wolfenstein: The New Order, and I've been enjoying that mostly for the gameplay. The story is kind of meh. I mean, mostly like I'm killing Nazis. Like that's basically the entire game. And like the main character is just kind of like a beefcake Kratos. If like Kratos had like some internal monologue that was somewhat calm.
How isn't Kratos a beefcake?
He's like even beefier somehow.
Okay, I'll give you that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
isn't his name like BJ Blazkowicz or something like that?
Yeah. So no, but the gameplay is actually really fun. There's a good stealth mechanic, and the like shooting mechanics are pretty solid, and I like playing both, which is hard. I don't say that about many games. And then I played episode 1 of Life is Strange, and found it to be better than 90% of Telltale's games.
Well, it's not running on Telltale Engine, so
no.
Yeah, that's good though. That's good. Now, speaking of Darkest Dungeon, what's your favorite class so far?
I really like the Jester.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Hellions that I really like.
I don't think they were in the game back when I was watching gameplay, but they sounded interesting from what little I've heard.
Wow, what ones were you attached to?
I haven't played it, of course, because I don't play anything.
Sure.
At this point, I'm realizing I don't play anything. I just watch games enough to be able to form opinions on them. But yeah, so when I was watching it, it was very early in the before it was officially released. So I'm assuming there's been some stuff added because there wasn't really in game for what I had seen at that point. But I was really digging the I think the not voodoo doctor, but it was like a dude in a turban. And like he had the ability to that class, whatever that is.
I can't remember that one's name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It
you like summon tentacles from the sky and like shit like that.
Yeah, it could have been just because I saw the least play of them, but also I really liked that ability they had of they can make it darker to make like for a really powerful ability, but I don't remember what it was. So. It's been a while since I've seen Darkest Dungeon gameplay. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and that class also, like, I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons to that class. I'm pretty sure the one that I have, will heal for like a lot, like heal any character for a lot, but also will cause like bleed damage. So it's a give and take. Like the character could resist the bleed and just get healed for a lot, or could get healed for basically nothing and then lose even more health.
Yeah, double-edged sword. I probably, if I were playing, I probably wouldn't run one, but it was interesting watching other people play it.
Yeah.
As for me, what I've been playing is mainly Binding of Isaac, because that's kind of what I default to when I have nothing else to play. Path of Exile, I had to stop that just because I know I mentioned it last week, but that skill tree is ridiculous. And then there's some trials you have to go through that are like you have to go through them if you want to proceed in gameplay. And I got to a point where I fought a boss for I think about 30 minutes, which was literally just me running in a circle, avoiding his attacks and hitting him when he was only hitting me for a little bit of damage instead of a lot. And after 30 minutes, I think I got a bunch of common items, a couple rare items, and like a couple magic items, which is less than rare, and one rare item. I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore because this is really stupid and really bad in my opinion. I guess Diablo and Torchlight 2 with the mods have spoiled me. I like to actually see good upgrades in my gear. I dipped my toe back in Destiny for I think about an hour last night and decided it was too cold and I don't want to go back. And I think I played a little bit of Let It Die. then deleted it because I decided, again, game that was interesting but not for me. That's generally the gist of what I've been gaming on. I know I tried out Evolve, the current version of it, earlier today because I was just going. I had a bunch of games on my PS4 and my PC, and I was just going through the ones I hadn't played / didn't know much about. And I was like, I played the Library Kuware game on PS4. It's a free game, and when I say played, I mean it's very heavily Japanese inspired, and I did not even get through the first bit of like introductions of characters, you know in a Japanese game where they have you pressing A for the first like 30 minutes. I didn't even get through that. I was just like, I don't care about these characters. This is kind of awkward, and it's a free game, so I'm gonna assume it's probably not good. Tried out Hawken again, did not get far. So yeah, that's been my gaming as of this week.
Now, quick question, just because one thing worth touching on, a fairly big movie came out over the weekend. Did either of you guys see it?
Yep.
I don't care.
Okay.
You don't care?
I mean, I'm not saying don't talk about it. That's fine. I didn't see it because I just don't care.
Sure.
They didn't make me care.
So, Rogue One, how'd you like it, Jordan?
It was entertaining. I liked The Force Awakens more. But I do appreciate it as a one-off, and I do appreciate that they made it a one-off. For those who don't know, I'm not going to really get into it, and we're not going to spoil anything, but
no.
It's got a definitive ending, and they're not going to go anywhere else with that story.
I actually probably thought it was better than Force Awakens, and I think it's up there with the best of what Star Wars has done so far. I think it makes a very nice addition to New Hope.
I agree. It lends itself well to the lore. There were just a few little things that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, and there are things that, one especially that I don't like in movies at all. And I felt that the Force, it's basically throwbacks and like very obvious Easter eggs like to previous movies. There were a few too many in Rogue One for me to take seriously. Like C-3PO and R2-D2 just like show up basically arbitrarily halfway through, and their line like doesn't offer anything. It just kind of annoyed me. And then there are some CG actors, which I'm sure you're aware of what I'm talking about, Adam.
Yeah, though it's interesting because I can agree with you and I can see that opinion. I did a film reviewer that I kind of respect also brought up a fair point of like, yeah, it does stand out, but then again, how is it ever going to get better if we don't use it?
Sure. True. And I think it was decent. I know there are people out there who said that they couldn't tell that they weren't real actors, which I don't really understand. But
yeah, that's not entirely fair. It's hard because like the biggest things I want to advocate for the movie tie into the stuff we don't want to talk about for the movie because like on a large scale, I felt this movie did something that other Star Wars films, and really not many blockbuster movies, period, have the guts to do, and that's part of what's really struck me, why part of that I really dug it.
Yeah, I hope that this does set a precedent for the other Star Wars stories that we're inevitably going to get, and that it's just not going to...
Yeah,
like the Han Solo thing, I want it to be one movie, and that's it.
I'm a little more dubious about that movie just simply because it takes it's a real gutsy thing to say that we're going to recast Han Solo.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for it more now that Donald Glover's playing Lando Calrissian, simply because I absolutely love Donald Glover and I want him to succeed in everything he does in his career.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm still a little dubious.
Oh, one thing that I did like the movie. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I got what I wanted out of it. It's a Star Wars movie. K2, stand out. Alan Tudyk is amazing.
You know, believe it or not, my favorite characters, like, he was awesome. Like, I agree with you. He was awesome. My personal favorite characters, I really liked the Crystal Keepers. I thought they were really cool.
Troopers?
Those are like the.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I thought those. I thought. Well, I mean, everybody's seen them in the trailers. Basically, it's the guy, like the blind guy with like the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really cool, and his compatriot. They're just kind of neat, and they have a lot of fun back and forth.
So I have 3 things to say.
Yes.
As per usual, I'm happy people enjoying this. I'm happy it's good. I don't wish it ill will. I also don't care about the Han Solo movie. I don't know why. They're Star Wars. I do like Star Wars, but the moment I heard no lightsabers, my interest went down by like 90%, honestly. I've heard good things, but 2, one of you is going to tell me what happens to Jane Erso in the chat.
Sure.
And 3, Donald Glover is doing well because I saw one of his songs, okay, that's what I thought. Okay, you can't just say that. You need to tell me how exactly it happened.
Do we know if Chris has seen this yet? Because Chris is sitting there in that chat.
Oh,
he's watching. Chris, don't look in the Revival Edition Long podcast.
All right, well, I'm just jumping in with spoilers here then. There you go. There. That's what you need to know. That's what you need to know right there, Myles.
I need more details than that. I need to know how exactly it happened.
We'll talk about it post-show.
Okay, that's fine. And 3, Donald Glover is doing better than I thought he was because I thought he made his self-destruct music video like a year or 2 ago. I forget which song it is, but Are You Eating Though? That one? Do you know which one that is, Adam?
You know, believe it or not, I mean, I've listened to some of his music. The music isn't where I come from a fan standpoint. Community is like one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and so pretty much he's got like a lifetime supporter for his participation in that.
Okay. Well, okay, I understand that. Well, the music video is him, essentially, he's in a diner, and he's like walking. Like, he walks out one door and he's walking around the building, walks in, and slowly everyone's face is like turning into his face. And I would like the first time I saw it, one of my friends showed it to me because I like Donald Glover already, but I don't really watch music videos unless there's some reason for me to watch them.
Right.
So he was showing it to me. I was like, this is the music video an artist makes before they commit suicide. And that it was dark, but it was just like that. Just kind of what my opinion of the music video was. It's like it's one of those videos. It's like if he were Tool, it'd be okay. If he were the band Tool, but he's not. And I was like, this is the self-destruct music video. I'm happy he hasn't self-destructed though. He's only been going up, but I hope he keeps going from here.
Yep. Also, Atlanta's really good if you ever get a chance to watch any of it.
I've heard. I just like haven't been able to bring myself to watch anything as lately. But anyway, we need to probably move on. Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump on to the segment that we're most known for.
The news from nowhere.
Had it queued up and everything this week. And our first story of the week is something that people might not care about, but I do because I have a funny story to share about it. Lost Odyssey is free on the Xbox One and 360 until December 31st. My birthday. Lost Odyssey was one of the most requested titles for the Xbox One's backward compatibility program. When the RPG finally joined the ranks of old games that work on the new system, some fans were disappointed that there was no digital version. You needed the Xbox 360 discs. That's no longer the case, and that's not all. You can get the digital version of Lost Odyssey for free for the rest of the month. The news comes from Microsoft's Larry Major Nelson. I don't know how to say that last name, who also notes that Blue Dragon is available digitally as well. If you're, that's the main pertinent bits. That's awesome. And my story is, I was happily playing through this game on the Xbox 360 at one time when Myles was a young little boy, and I was still on the first disc, and someone stole my Xbox 360 with the first disc in the freaking console. So I had the other, 3 discs, and I couldn't finish it because I didn't have the first one. I was really angry at the time, but this is really funny at this point now that it's been many years. I was horrendously angry at the time, though. Not just because my 360 got stolen, because that disc was in the console. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Did you all have the chance to play Lost Odyssey, or I guess Blue Dragon, since it was brought up?
I've never not played either.
Me neither, though. I have an Xbox One, so I could potentially play it for free.
You should.
Do it, Adam. Do it.
I always hate people who are like, I don't want to try a free thing. Because I'm like, it's literally free. You literally do not have to pay for it.
Tell me a little bit about it. Sell me on it a little bit.
Okay, so also it's been years. Keep that in mind. Been
Okay, that's
years,
fair.
and I did not get far because this got stolen. But from what I remember, you play as a immortal character essentially who details. It was an RPG, of course, turn-based. It kind of reminded me a lot of Final Fantasy VII, honestly, in
Okay.
terms of how you play it. The storyline was you are an immortal, and I think what is it? You're like you're not the only immortal, but all the immortals, as far as I'd seen, were losing their memory, or that was just like a part of immortality. They just like lose chunks of their life as time goes on. And of course, your character is the Cloud character, the stoic, kind of douchey, but he's your character. But as I was playing, it's like there was a function or a system along with like finding your memories, if that makes sense, where it's like you got to see through a bit of a bit of that person's time and all that. One of them got me in the feels because it was like your character didn't always used to be the Cloud character. He was used to be a happy guy. Your character would always come to this one inn when he's traveling through the world, and he would like tell this little girl stories, and you realize that this little girl has been dead for like 20 years. It's like kind of depressing. It's like, okay, I want to play this game and find out what else they have to kick me in the feels with. But yeah, I literally didn't. I did not get very far at all. I think I met one other immortal, and yeah, I think she was on my team for maybe like 2 hours before I put down the game for that night. And I think like 3 days later got jacked. So there you go. I enjoyed it though. From what I played, the gameplay was really solid. And again, for free, there's no reason not to, but I do suggest it, even especially if it's free. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Let's go ahead and move on to other Final Fantasy related things. What's going on, Adam?
Not prepared.
I'm trying to think of how to read this. So basically, Square Enix, as many people know, Final Fantasy will be celebrating its 30th anniversary next year. Square Enix has just recently announced that it will be holding the opening ceremony for Final Fantasy's 30th anniversary festivities on January 31st. The announcement doesn't reveal much beyond details for a presentation that will take place at Toho Cinema's Theater in Tokyo, but we're getting, like the person said, but we're guessing we'll get more info regarding FX12, the FX12 remaster, and Final Fantasy VII Remake during the show. So mark the date on your calendar. I've heard, like, I've been hearing this kind of crazy rumor that's been kicking around, and it's a rumor, so take it as a rumor. But I've been hearing a lot about the potential of announcement of a Final Fantasy collection that would essentially collect Final Fantasy 1 through 9 in one collection.
That'd be
I would be
cool.
shocked if they did that.
You'd be shocked?
Yeah, I mean, I think they would sell them individually, not as a single collection.
They've pretty much been selling them individually for the past like decade. So,
well, then they would do something else. I don't know. I unless they put a huge price point on it, or something. I don't know. I don't know what you would sell 1 through 9 as. Like, what are they selling each of them for now? Like $10?
roughly, yeah. Even on like phones, they're getting about $10.
I don't know. I could see them doing that, especially when there's precedence, especially when Konami a couple years ago kind of released. I mean, just like I think there's a market. Like there are more and more people are trying to, more and more companies are trying to curate their gaming history. This is evident with obviously the Rare Pack that came out this year. Obviously, we had the Metal Gear Solid collection that came out. Was it 2 years ago? I think a year.
That was 3 games though, not 9.
I just don't think it would. I don't think it would shock me because it's a way to get people who maybe already bought all these to buy it again, so they can get it in a package.
The other
I don't
question,
know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Nope.
The other question that rises: where can you get? Like, what would this come out on? And what are the other newfangled other things they're going to toss into this package to make it cost $280? It sounds cool. It sounds like something that any Final Fantasy fan would be foaming at the mouth for. I'm skeptical. A little bit.
I think that if they did something like that, it would be something that would be geared towards the most hardcore fans. and not towards somebody who wants to get caught up on Final Fantasy, because like that's people who try to go back or who try to go back into Final Fantasy games to play them for the first time. They generally are like, okay, what are the best Final Fantasy games? At least somebody who's somewhat informed. And I think that trying to buy all 9 at once would be daunting, and you'd get a lot that you're probably never going to play. So either they're going to market it towards that person, which I don't think is going to buy it, and it's going to be super cheap and not have anything nice about it, or they're going to market it towards the most hardcore fans, which I think is more likely, and there will be newfangled crap in it, as you say, Miles, and they're going to make it overpriced.
I'm calling it $60.
I say 120.
I'm leaning towards 280 because they have a freaking like Cloud real skin mask in there with actual hair and a Buster sword.
I just think that this kind of makes sense. I think it's in their head. I mean, they're already releasing like this big. They're already releasing this Kingdom Hearts collection. I just think they might. I just could see them doing it.
I could see them doing like a special edition release. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's gonna be something that has like collectibles in it or something like that. It's not gonna be just the games, and it's gonna be a physical release.
And I think that there's gonna be that too. I would expect there's gonna be multiple versions of this, and there is gonna be the $200-something one for the most extreme fan. That'll probably come with like, I don't know, like an actual like crystal or something like that. Maybe your own chocobo you get to like raise and keep.
You know what they're actually gonna do, right?
What are they gonna do? They're gonna give you a chocobo. Everybody gets a chocobo.
No, because this is Square Enix. They're gonna drop the ball. They're gonna goof up hard, and they'll be like, "This is the remaster you've been waiting for." Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my god, a release date for Final Fantasy VII remaster?" Or, "Oh my god, I didn't like Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VIII? Oh my god, I didn't like Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy IX?" They're gonna be like, "Final Fantasy Dawn of the Spirits," or whatever that crappy movie was called, remastered in 4K. Within. Spirits Within, that one. There's a reason I don't know the title.
No, the reason why I know the title, I probably on a regular basis would not be able to tell you, but it was in the first episode of Life is Strange. Like, the main character sees a poster of it or something like that, and she goes, "Oh, Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. That was such an underrated sci-fi movie." It's like, who can tell this was published by Square Enix?
That's clever of them, though. That's kind of funny. But yeah, they're either going to be like remastered in 4K for all you people who are not going to buy this, or it'll be like Spirits Within, the video game, that mobile that no one asked for.
Spirits Within remake. They decided to retouch it up and actually come from the ground up. And they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it in episodes.
And Cloud is in it for whatever reason. He's just like, I don't even know why I'm here. This isn't my world. What happened to me? Yeah, I'll be interested to see what's going on. I hope they live stream this because, assuming I'm not gainfully employed by then, or the other thing I'm working on is not happening, that'd be cool. See, watch this.
I guess. Also, I mean, if they're doing a whole conference for an anniversary, yeah, we're excited for the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I don't know anything about Final Fantasy XII remaster. But it almost doesn't feel like it's enough to warrant having an anniversary announcement. They've got to have something else in the canon that really celebrates the history of Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy the remakes. You heard it here first, people.
I mean, maybe another remake. Maybe, something from another beloved one. Probably 8.
Oh yeah, they haven't remade 8 or 9. Oh, that's what we're counting up.
4K remake of 1.
But Square Enix doesn't like 9. So.
That's not really a plot there. Just like,
I don't know. I've never seen anybody talk about 9. I like 9, but I've never seen anybody from Square Enix talk about 9.
I was going to say I didn't know 9 had problems. I thought that one was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but yeah. Anyway, well, there you go, people. The remakes of Final Fantasy, and you know what else is happening? Something with another company from Japan. Hey, segues. Sometimes they're hard to make.
So I'm going to be kind of combining two stories in one, just because they're pretty related. So first up, we'll talk about news coming out of, this was originally Venture Beat, I'm going to say. Yeah. Leaked specs of the Nintendo Switch point to some sacrifices in power when the console is taken out of its dock. A report from Eurogamer, sourcing from and adding to a news from Venture Beat, shows the graphical processing unit on the Switch operates at 307.2 megahertz when undocked. Docked, the GPU can run at 768 megahertz. However, developers have the option to run their games on the slower configuration, even when the unit is plugged into the dock, to keep consistency across portable and home use. The CPU on the Switch, according to the report, runs at 1020 megahertz docked or undocked, and memory runs at either 1331 or 1600 megahertz in either configuration. What this means for games remains to be seen, but Eurogamer thinks even running at the slower portable clock speed, the Maxwell architecture of the chip should give it performance well above that of the Wii U. Further news about the Wii U from VentureBeat, based upon two sources, says that the NVIDIA graphics processing architecture from the upcoming Nintendo Switch system means it will be less powerful than the regular PlayStation 4, as opposed to the new PS4 Pro. According to the article, the Switch uses the Maxwell graphics processing architecture from its custom Tegra processor instead of the Pascal architecture that came out this year because Nintendo didn't want to wait for the Pascal. VentureBeat expects the Switch to have a 1 teraflop in performance, while it puts the PS4 at around 1.8 teraflops, and says Sony's system that debuted in late 2013 has much better memory bandwidth performance as well compared to the Switch. By further comparison, VentureBeat says Microsoft is planning 6 teraflops for the Xbox One Scorpio upgrade coming late next year. The article speculates that by using Maxwell, the Switch's price is likely under $400. Finally, the article offers a sense of what we can expect when playing the game via its dock, blah, blah, so we just went over. So a lot of technical information there, but basically what it boils down to is it's likely going to cost less than $400. It's going to likely be less powerful than the common PS4 right now, and it's running about 40% less powerful when it's undocked. Color me surprised.
So I admit, I feel like I know everyone, including me, has been wanting Nintendo to change their ways and go for power. Like, everyone's been wanting that. Well, a good chunk of people have been wanting that. But at this point, it's also kind of like, it's Nintendo. They're probably not going to. And also, I feel like you shouldn't compare it. I feel like you should compare its weakest, if that makes sense. Like, you shouldn't be comparing this thing to a PS4. It is a portable that happens to be able to be plugged into a TV, which is nifty and cool. Sure. But I feel like it's like, yeah, it's gonna be weaker because it is a portable. That shouldn't surprise anyone.
I think that's fair, and I think also the fact that I think memory might be a little bit of a misnomer, just because it's going to be using cartridges, so it might need less memory.
Sure.
But what I do think is important as far as this goes is, although it's going to be a portable device, or at least sometimes be a portable device, it needs to remain competitive, and it needs to continue to draw third-party support, which is where the Wii U and, to a certain extent, the Wii drastically failed to perform. So I think that is the biggest cause for concern. Has the 3DS gotten a bunch of third-party support? Certainly, but there's not a lot of handheld competition out there, except for the Vita, which will live forever.
Well, yeah, certain people agree with that. I mean, that's what I think, though. I feel like it needs to be compared to the DS and the Vita, which I feel like it's probably more powerful than both of those, because that's kind of what its wheelhouse is.
I read somewhere that its graphics processing, I think, is comparable to the Vita when it's undocked.
Okay. Okay, that's not great then. Well, I stand by my point, albeit that's not good news, but I still think I'm still excited for this thing. Adam, what are your thoughts?
First of all, I'm ready for the actual press conference so we can stop speculating and I can stop listening to people on the internet be smugly that say it's going to succeed or ha 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 ha. I hope it fails so that I can finally play Mario on another console. I'm just kind of ready for it to be kind of done one way or the other. The graphics thing, I think we always kind of knew this. I don't think there was ever a moment where I thought it was going to be as powerful as the PlayStation 4. I don't think graphics are everything because I think even the Wii U, a lot of the Wii U games looked good. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the types of games they make don't necessarily are stylized enough that they don't have to be they don't need the highest graphics, but it's not like they're trying to recreate real life or anything like that. You can make Wii U made a very pretty looking Mario game, for instance. But it is problematic because of the third parties, because basically part of the way you can make yourself competitive is if you have because you want these same people who are making games for PlayStation 4, Xbox One to make them for your Wii U or Switch. They're less likely to want to do so if there's a graphical disparity, and then they have to do extra work to make it work for your less powerful console. That's my big concern there.
Well, the other thing that they're kind of doing to shoot themselves in the foot is also there is the less power, but then there's the fact that there's essentially two power settings that developers and developers they have to figure out how to work around that because you can't have your game chugging just because it's not.
So the sources are saying that it will be possible for the developers to develop for a baseline that will be for both the docked and undocked versions to be so basically when it's docked, it would be similar to performing when it's undocked.
But then what's the point?
Which sucks. Yeah, yeah.
It's if you can't perform at optimal efficiency, then what is the point of having that optimal efficiency at all? If you can't perform the optimal efficiency at all times, then what is the point of having that? In this case.
I'm wondering if it's going to end up, and it would be a shame, because one of the system's biggest draws is that it's both handheld and, home console. Right. I think what you're going to get a lot of is this game is made primarily to be a handheld. This game is made primarily to be a home console game, and I would not be surprised to see a little bit of disappointment with that. Now, of course, this is all still speculation, and apart from some of the things that Venture Beat is saying, which again is from two sources, it's still worth noting that early next year is when we're going to get more information about this thing, and we kind of should probably reserve judgment until then.
Yeah, I guess so. There's more I can say, but we just don't know yet. So I think I'm just not going to, because just give me some facts, and let's not talk about the Switch again unless either A, there's an actual leak, or B, we actually know what the hell's going on with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's only 3 months away because for some reason they're not talking about it now when they really should be talking about it if it's coming out next year early.
Well, we've got the conference in January for sure.
Is it? Oh, releases in March.
Yeah, the release is in March.
Yeah. In my head, I was thinking they're not talking about it until March, and I was like, that's dumb.
Yeah, we should know all the details blessedly soon.
Yes.
It's still kind of dumb that they're waiting until... because they could have gotten out ahead of this.
Yeah. So Colin Moriarty has been saying, a PlayStation guy, has been saying this for weeks, maybe months. I don't know that far back. I don't remember that far back. He's been saying they need to go ahead and get out and say all the things about it, including the bad things, so they have all the time they can get to, not appeal to those negative things that the gamers and consumers are going to be like, oh, I don't know about this. They don't want that all coming out like, oh, by the way, it's releasing tomorrow, but also there's all these bad things, like low battery life or whatever, in this information. It's like, you kind of want to handle that stuff. Get it done, But, I don't know. Reggie Fils-Aime's body is not ready yet, I suppose.
Well, I mean, and that was one of the biggest downfalls of the Vita, too, is that, there were so many people who were saying, this is a great handheld, this is a really good device, and people should buy it. But the problem was that there was a bunch of bad news coming out at the same time, like the fact that the memory cards were going to be, super overpriced, and just stupid shit like that. So they weren't able to get out ahead of that, especially with like the review process and stuff. So they need to market this really well, and I don't see them doing it so far.
Nope, they're not marketing it.
When you said, and I would have kept this vague, but when you said Reggie Fils-Aimé's body's not ready yet, I was like envisioning like a malformed Reggie like in a Bacta tank waiting to like. This is in reference to a thing that Jordan probably knows exactly what I'm talking about, but.
What? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well,
go see Rogue One, kiddies.
Go see Rogue One and buy a Nintendo Switch, which is a portable console that happens to be able to plug into your TV. Yeah. So moving on from that, I believe it's my story now. Yeah. So this is an interesting thing I saw that it's been kind of in the wings for a while, and that can be deleted. So I'm gonna get rid of that. There we go. Sorry for the click-clack, people. All right. So Torment, Tides of Numenera. I definitely have not been reading that right. Releasing in February. So if you don't know, that is a sequel to Torment. Oh my God, what's the subtitle for the game? Do either of you remember that game? Torment.
I was looking at it before. I'll tell you in just a second. Hold on.
Okay. Well, Torment, Tides of Numenera is the spiritual successor to the classic Planescape Torment. There we go.
Planescape Torment.
To the spiritual successor to the classic RPG, Planescape Torment. And gamers have been looking forward to it for a while. Ever since its phenomenally successful Kickstarter back in 2013, we've been eager to see the full finished version of the title released. Well, now we know when that's happening, February 28th. And the news came out today via a trailer. You can go check that out. Look up Torment, Tides of Numenera. So the only reason I wanted to mention this is mainly because one of my friends absolutely loved this, so I saw this news story and I was like, hey, that's that game he played while I watched, and that game was pretty freaking funny. It had the combat was very early Fallout-esque, if you will. Kind of, I forget what the word is. Not parametric. What's the word for that, like, top-down view?
I can tell you in just a second.
Isometric, there we go. Isometric gameplay, kind of turn-based from what I understood. I never actually played it. I just watched him play, and it was very interesting. The dialogue was good. I enjoyed the characters. So it's kind of cool to see that this game is going to be finally releasing, because I know he's happy about it. And I'm kind of happy, because it might mean I'll jump in, try it out. Yeah, do either of you have... neither of you have any experience with Torment, do you? Or Planescape?
No, I don't. I know a decent amount about the era that Planescape Torment came out in, and I mean, to put some perspective on it, people are probably more familiar with Wasteland 2, which in Exile, the developer just recently did a Kickstarter campaign for, and I think the game came out.
I think. I don't
Wasteland 2, yeah, it's up.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's very similar to that.
Yeah.
And what was the name of the game? That was... Ignore me.
It should also be pointed out, because a lot of people who are younger might not know this, is that's also how the original Fallout games were, too. Yep, 1 and 2 were top-down, kind of turn-based RPGs, not like not the Bethesda thing we know today.
But anyway, so the game looks really cool, though, if you've looked at it at all, and definitely check out the Kickstarter page. It looks like it's going to be... it's on my radar. I know that much. It's gonna be fun.
There you go. I guess this was I chose this story to call it out so other people who didn't play that game way back when know about it. There you go, listeners. That sounds interesting to you. Check it out.
Not Tides of Numenera.
What?
No, I was Numenera.
Tides of Numa.
Numa.
It's actually Tides of Marinara sauce.
Okay,
we should move on. Falling in a hole, Adam.
Former Konami.
Okay. Former Konami, president is heading up Kojima Productions. In a move that seems to have gone unnoticed, Shinji Hirano, the former president of Konami Europe, has been appointed president of Kojima Productions. The move was finally clocked earlier today by the coalition, and according to Hirano's own LinkedIn account, he's been serving as Kojima Productions president for over a month. All in all, Hirano spent just under 11 years at Konami, holding a variety of executive positions before finally leaving in March 2016. Now, as president of Kojima Productions, the industry vet will be responsible for managing extremely talented creative teams as one single entity and providing the leadership to make the company successful as one of the greatest creative studios in the world. That didn't really shock me because I'm sure there were plenty of people, even as bad as things got with Konami, I'm sure there are plenty of people still there and associated with Konami that Kojima still thinks highly of and is close with. I wouldn't expect this will be the last Konami employee to eventually find their way over to Kojima's new studio.
Yeah. And we're having an interruption. Whatever. Do your thing, Jordan.
Shinji Hirano, in an interview with Adam Sessler following E3 2011 press conference, said the following: "We are trying to bring the much more wide-range lineup of the westernized title. That is our goal for the next 2 or 3 years. And the other part is we are trying to be closer to the fan. That is why we are trying to use the social sites to communicate with the users directly." So basically, this is the Reedus Feetus Quote of the show, by the way, in case you didn't catch on to that. And the reason why I bring this up is because I was looking up things about Shinji Hirano after hearing about this news, and I was kind of curious about, what he did with Konami specifically, like what his ideas were and like what his mission was with the company. And it seems like, first off, he was pretty involved in PES, if you guys are familiar with the soccer game, PES, PES, and Metal Gear. So he was probably pretty chummy with Hideo Kojima. This quote came out actually right after they had announced Metal Gear Rising, which later became Metal Gear Revengeance. But anyway, so basically what he's saying is that he's got like this high impression of Western titles, something that Hideo Kojima also has a strong passion for, and that he wants to be close to the fan base. And I think those are both really, really good things for a now independent developer. Kojima Productions, even though it may not seem like an independent developer, seeing as they have a lot of connections, they are an independent developer, and I think it's going to be really important for them to have somebody who both understands Hideo Kojima and understands the position that their company is in, and that they definitely need the support of their fans. So, there it is.
There we go. That's a Reedus Feetus moment of the show, or quote of the show. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, it seems like such a weird move. I'm sure if you're just looking at the fallout between Kojima and Konami, but Adam, you had it right there. If he is willing to let someone from Konami, if Kojima is willing to let someone from Konami be the president of his company, it has to be for an extremely good reason. So,
and I think that a lot of what you're seeing filling roles in Kojima Productions is people that he's more or less poached from Konami. It seems to me, based on my research about Shinji Hirano, is that he was very heavily involved in Metal Gear games, and so they knew each other fairly well, and it probably comes as less of a surprise to people in the industry.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I just have this image in my head where, like, eventually, after a few years, Kojima Productions is sprawling and huge, and Konami's just, like, got its head management left. They're like, all right, go make a game. It's like, who? What do you mean, who? They all left. They work with Kojima now. This is my last day. I'm going over there in a few minutes. You guys are awful.
You want me to make a zombie game?
Bow and arrows. Why? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes of this, I guess. I hope nothing bad, but there you go. Moving on. Speaking of Uncharted Waters.
Oh, very nice. Uncharted 4 Survival is available now. As was previously announced, Naughty Dog has released a new and free update to Uncharted 4 that adds a variety of multiplayer features. Headlining the changes is a survival mode, which is where you and your friends cooperatively take on waves of enemies. According to the PlayStation blog, these are the major updates beyond Survival Edition, or Survival Mode. New maps, Trainwreck, and a prison. I think just train wrecks from Uncharted 2. Returning classic weapons, M4 assault rifle, Pac-80 light machine gun, Ranko 9. I'm not going to go all through all this. New beta test playlist mode, King of the Hill. New character skins, there are apparently 48 of them, including a new biker-themed skin.
Days Gone.
New color customizations. What was that?
Days Gone.
Yeah. New multiplayer levels and rewards. Max rank has been increased to level 90 with 2 new vanity unlocks, and new challenges earn relics with new challenges for multiplayer survival. If you play the multiplayer, then you probably know what that means. I played the Uncharted 4 multiplayer a fair amount after the game came out. I generally enjoy what Naughty Dog does with their multiplayer. Especially with The Last of Us. I still play The Last of Us multiplayer on occasion here and there, just because it's one of the best tactical third-person shooters I think that are out there. And the one thing that I always wished that The Last of Us had done was a cooperative mode. Just because the Uncharted games have usually had really good cooperative modes, and for some reason Naughty Dog thought that it wouldn't like play well in the Last of Us universe, which makes no sense to me because like basically you just need to fight waves of clickers. Like that's it. That's all I wanted, and they didn't do it. But they put it in this, and I haven't played it probably since like a month after its release, and I'm so tempted to go back just for the survival mode. So
it's free. No reason not to. I mean, honestly, I was watching some streamers play the Uncharted, not this, but Uncharted 4 online before, and I was like, that looks fun. I probably would hate it because I didn't really like the controls of Uncharted in the gunplay, but it looked fun. Adam, you got any thoughts on this?
No, doesn't really interest me.
All right, then. So I am actually going to slip one more story in just because I was going to glaze over it really quickly, but it seems like something that would be unfair to glaze over because my opinion might be inflammatory if it's not explained. So the thing we're going to talk about right quick is the official comic confirms. Official comic confirms Tracer is Overwatch's first LGBTQ character. There we go. I don't really know. It's a free comic. You can read it online if you want to. She has a girlfriend. Her name's Emily. The comic is titled Reflections. And is there any more information that actually needs? And this is current, so this isn't like someone in the past, I guess. Goes over a few of the other heroes and what they're up to during the holidays. It's Christmas season. Is anybody else kind of to the point? I need to make a video on this. Anyone else kind of to the point where, like, you think this shouldn't really matter anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's somewhat fair. I think that making a big deal out of it makes a big deal out of LGBT, the LGBT community. Whereas I think the LGBT community would like more to just be part of the everyone community.
Yeah.
So drawing attention to it probably, to an extent, is drawing unwanted attention. And then, but on the other hand, like there are very few characters out there that are in like popular entertainment that are LGBT, and drawing attention to it means that there can be more, and it can be more of an accepting atmosphere. It's kind of. I
kind of think that, and I don't know. And like, admittedly, I am a straight white male, so I'm not like the most accurate, no way definitive opinion on these kinds of issues. But I kind of see it as maybe like we've moved past past the point of needing to celebrate it, and maybe we're getting close to the point where we need to it needs to be normalized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the next thing. Instead of making a big deal out of it, it's just like this is part of life. This is just like a completely normal thing. Some people like other people, kind of thing. I think probably the funniest comment I saw in response to it was somebody being kind of dirty, and then somebody giving a really honest and insightful answer to it. Because I was reading, somebody had posted it in one of the groups I belong to on Facebook, and they're like, oh my god, like Tracer's gay, and then somebody snarkily and kind of pervertedly goes, well, how long do you think until like the fan art community like makes stuff that reflects that? And then somebody just like very deadpan said, I'm pretty sure they did that several months before the game even came.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm like that was like $1 million answer right there.
I mean, it's like, yeah, that was in the news. That was in the news. So I mean, I don't know. Like that's why I thought I should actually explain this, because I know just saying this shouldn't matter would sound kind of dickish. I don't think it should matter, but because I feel like not Borderlands, BioWare, they've been doing this for a while now. You know, there's Sarah, there's the guy whose name I don't remember, Dorian from Dragon Age Inquisition. I believe in Mass Effect 2, there's the lesbian woman whose name I cannot remember. It's been too long since I played these games. I feel like
well, from game one, Liara kind of can go either way, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like strictly lesbian,
exclusively. Again,
yeah. Because I know that was a really stupid big thing for some people. Like they're like, I can't handle a character in my games that can't romance. It's like, that's life. There are people who don't want anything to do with you in life. I'm happy that this is. I guess I'm happy that this is a thing that people are acknowledging, but at the same time, it's just like, I was watching some streamers and they were like celebrating earlier. It's like, why?
I think it's something to be happy about. I think it's something that we can like independently like talk about and be encouraged by, especially if you are LGBT. Like that's great. That's a good sign of times changing. I don't know that it's necessarily something that we should be reporting on. I think that's more of what the issue is. It's not people aren't saying, or I'm not saying, that Tracer being gay is the problem. The problem is that people want to publicize it and make it a point of drawing attention.
Yeah, it's almost a little condescending when you go like, oh, good on Blizzard. They've got a gay in their game. That's good for them.
Right. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Blizzard make a gay character just to
Oh, I don't think they are. No.
And especially, I feel like, especially in Overwatch, where it literally has no bearing on the game.
Sure.
Like, I mean,
the story has very little bearing on the game too.
Exactly. It's like, in the game, I think the most story you get is sometimes certain characters will say things to other characters. They're like, oh, that's a tidbit of their past. They're mentioning a connection they have. But in this case, it's like, I'm pretty sure Emily, the girlfriend, is not going to be a playable character. However, it'd be kind of cool if she was, just because, hey, Blizzard makes cool characters. I'm not going to lie. I don't play any of their games, but I really like their art and everything. So that might be cool. But until then, it doesn't matter. It's cool, but it's cool, I guess. That's when I saw this story, I was like, cool. Moving on. And speaking of moving on, to our thought from nowhere, we're gonna we're gonna jump into that. Thought from nowhere this week comes from our very own Adam Leonard. Universal is going to be adding Nintendo attractions to its theme parks. What would you like to see in a Nintendo land? Going beyond just Nintendo, what would your dream video game theme park be like? Adams, this is your question. You can kick us off.
So I don't know if you guys really know this about me, but I'm like kind of a big theme park nerd. I actually worked at Disney World for a while.
Oh.
So this is kind of like when like I started hearing about Nintendo and Universal talking, it was a kind of a big deal because it's like two of like my biggest passions kind of overlapping with each other. And so I was kind of thinking of like what I would want to see in a Nintendo Land if I just could like kind of blue sky it, which blue sky is kind of like a term for like if you can create like an attraction just like with unlimited resources and all that good stuff. I think one thing that I've heard some rumor about when people are talking about like what they're planning that I think would be really cool is I've heard some stuff about them thinking about a Mario Kart roller coaster. And that seems like that would be a real gimme attraction. It could be really, really bright, really colorful. It'd probably be indoors. I don't know which level you'd potentially pick, but like a Rainbow Road roller coaster would probably be friggin' amazing. So I definitely think that would be cool. I think it'd be neat to have some kind of. I'm thinking like a Zelda minecart ride, maybe.
Cool.
I think that a proper Pokemon Safari would probably be a good idea. It would not be as much of a thrill ride, but it would be, basically a chance for you to come face to face with a bunch of, like animatronic Pokemon. I mean, it's one thing that just seems to me kind of like a gimme. And then maybe like a Star Fox Flight Simulator are like the initial ones that are jumping to mind.
Yeah, Pokemon was going to be my pick, so.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've got some other stuff, but
so I'm guessing you want Pokemon Snap.
well, obviously.
Yeah.
But no, no. I think so. The Pokemon Safari, I think, is absolutely a given. There's going to be a Pokemon something. They can't not. But I prefer instead of animatronic Pokemon, I'd prefer people in Pokemon costumes that you can throw Pokeballs at. And they have a rotating cast, so you'd always get different Pokemon every time you go in there. I'd also like Yoshi bumper cars. And every time they hit each other, they go like, woohoo! Like stuff like that. It'd be funny. Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to take a step back to your people in Pokemon costumes idea.
Back to, okay, yeah, go for it.
You were a mean-spirited child, weren't you? Yeah, I have no idea
child,
how...
I've always been a child, yeah.
I have no idea how I like it executed, but yeah, I'm sick of Pokemon.
You could do like an actual Pokemon like Snap ride. There are some actual like amusement park attractions out there that are like a ride, but they're also kind of a game at the same time. Like there's like a local park over my place that's like both laser tag and a theme park ride at the same time.
Yeah, sure.
So you could have a cool thing where you're in a little car like equipped with the cars have like a camera that you can use to try to snap the Pokemon, and then you have to basically kind of like center them and like basically hit a target on the Pokemon that catches the picture, right, or something like that. I think you get like scored for it.
Yeah.
Well, and on top of that, like the Pokemon Snap was also a on rails game, so
it's kind of like, hey, there you go, it's already made for you.
As far as the like rail cart ride though, I was thinking Donkey Kong would be a better fit.
I mean, I could,
because there's actually rail cart levels in Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like you got to fit like Legend of Zelda. It's got to be in there somewhere, because I think Donkey Kong could potentially be integrated into the Mario Kart ride.
That's true. I feel like I had something else, but I'm out now.
Yeah,
but I mean, like a Donkey Kong Country rail cart ride. I mean, that could be cool too.
Riding in barrels. Yeah.
It's broken in certain areas, and you have to like make jumps.
Yeah, that's one way to die. Yeah, I don't know. When I'm at it, I don't really like theme parks because there's none around my house. I like theme parks. I don't like traveling to them. I can handle crowds. It's not a phobia or anything. I just don't like crowds. I don't like the wait. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about this. It's gonna be cool though. I'm sure I'll end up going there one day. Maybe not soon, but one day. Yeah.
As far as the follow-up question on it, like beyond Nintendo, what video game stuff? Adam, did you have anything?
Well, okay, one pretty obvious one jumps to mind. This is kind of like never gonna happen, but hey, a guy can dream, right? So on top of like theme parks, I'm also really, really into like seasonal haunted attraction stuff too, and then also
Yeah.
okay, it's also all kind of loops in together because Universal Studios does something called Halloween Horror Nights every year, which is like basically like a multi-million-dollar Halloween attraction where they have like, you know, like a bunch of like professional grade haunted houses, and the video game industry hasn't been as, you know, they tend to base a lot of their properties off of like original ideas, but a lot of movies and television too. Not a lot of video games so far, which is kind of a shame. I think the only one that really I can think of is like the one year I went out to Halloween Horror Nights in Florida. They actually had a Resident Evil house that was really cool.
Oh, cool.
And that was kind of neat. But I want it. I'm sure Jordan would love this too, but like, you know, like Universal, if you're listening, a Bloodborne haunted house.
Yep.
Or an entire scare zone with a house. Like a scare zone is basically a big open area with like roaming actors and stuff like that. Like recreate like the streets of Yarnum and then maybe give us like a haunted house. That would be like the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah. No, I was trying to think about other stuff too, and like I think first off, it should be noted that doing Nintendo is a great idea.
Right.
Nintendo has a very large catalog of games to draw from, characters to draw from, kid-friendly properties to use. And if you're going to do like another theme park that's something similar to that, it would have to be something comparable to like Nintendo's library of things. So that was probably my biggest problem with like coming up with something for the follow-up question. But I did think of Bloodborne, and I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. But that wouldn't really be a theme park. That would be more like a haunted house. That'd be a really cool haunted house.
I could actually see a theme park in theory setting up a year-round Resident Evil attraction. That I could actually see happening. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
Sure.
Whether that be like a walkthrough attraction or a ride of some sort.
Yeah, I mean, like individual attractions in like other theme parks, I can definitely see like having a standout like video game theme something.
Well, there you go. Those are our free ideas on how to improve your park, Universal Studios.
True story. Sorry, just to like jump in on like that. Actually, Six Flags Great America, which is like the Six Flags over in like the Bay Area in California, actually has some kind of like Mass Effect 4D attraction.
Oh, cool.
That sounds so awesome. Depending on how they handle it. But yeah, there you go, folks. This has been episode 149, Nintendo Dreamland. It makes sense now. It all comes together. We usually record on Tuesday nights and release. I'm not going to keep saying that. We usually record on Tuesday nights. You can see the times in the video, or just go watch the video for like 2 seconds. You can email us your ideas for Thoughts of Nowhere, or if you have questions or ideas or thank yous or whatever, you can email those to contact.mong@gmail.com. You can find our Twitter account, which is @mong.com. We're also on YouTube, Mong Network, and Middle Nora Gaming Plays. I'm trying to shorten this closing segment a little bit. Of course, Twitch is where you should be when we're live. That's Mong Plays, twitch.tv/Mong Plays. Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, we got them all. And of course, the main website, the hub of it all, is middlenoragaming.com. That's where everything is. That's editorials, news, reviews, videos, everything. And if you want to be awesome, help us keep the lights on, we do also have a Patreon. You can find that. Just look at Middle Nora Gaming. I suppose there might be something on there for someone to drink a bottle of ketchup. I don't know if he's gotten around to changing it or not, but if not, he's going to need to before it actually comes to fruition. And beyond that, if you want to find us on Twitter, your humble co-hosts, I am Furious Milk.
Fanboy_Adam.
Magical Boiler.
There you go. And that has been another wonderful episode. Thank you all very much for hanging out. Thank you all for watching or listening or whatever, reading, if someone's transcribing this for some odd reason. Beyond that, let's get out of here, boys.
Good night and good week.
Oh, God. Yes, the Discord. I need to just put that in the closing segment.
Yeah.
The Discord is always linked at the bottom of whatever you're listening or watching. Click that button. Go there. Talk to people. There we go.
Yeah. Boom.
And I don't have an outro. Good
Ropes
night.
and sticks.
Good night and good week.
Yeah, I was supposed to say that before I say mine.